Hello, everybody. I'm 𝘱𝘁𝘓𝘳𝘵, and I work for the Europa Institute of the Saarland University. As you can see, well, the Saarland University, I'm going to speak a little bit very quickly about the Saarland University. We are one of the first 7 European universities that were picked from the European Commission in 2019. And there is a lot of projects which are going on under the umbrella of Transform for Europe. And well, you can see also the partner universities that are part of the European initiative, so to say. But I'm rather here more to speak about Europa Institute. So as you can see also in the map, as my colleague mentioned before, we are right in the heart of Europe. So yes, we are about an hour and 15 minutes from Paris, and an hour from by train, and an hour from Luxembourg. Also, Strasbourg is just an hour away, and Brussels is just 3.5 hours away. So it's a very nice place also, not only to study, but also to plan strategically your time to visit Europe as you are studying at the Saarland University or at the Europa Institute. When it comes to the Europa Institute, we were established in 1951. We are the second oldest institute of its type in Europe. And actually, back then in 1951, Saarland was still part of France. After a referendum in 55, they decided to be part of Germany. So in 57, that's when everything Saarland fall under the Federal Republic of France. But yes, we've been over 70 years in the business, basically. And this is an accredited 1-year master's program in European and international law. It's a master's of law. It's an LLM. There are about over 5,500 graduates all over the world. And we have, or I will speak a little bit later about the professors. We do excursions in European and international institutions. The traditional ones would be Luxembourg, Strasbourg, and Brussels, but I'm going to mention it again a little bit later. And then we also have the library, which is the European Documentation Center of the EU Commission. We are one of the 40 libraries that are also European Documentation Center. So every single book that you will need, and in regards to the fields that we deal with, you will find it in our library. How the structure of the institute is? Well, these two guys here are Professor 𝘱𝘥𝘷𝘦𝘳𝘵 and Professor 𝘱𝘢𝘪𝘥. They are the directors of the institute. So Professor 𝘱𝘥𝘷𝘦𝘳𝘴 holds the chair of public law, public international law, and European law. And he was also awarded the 𝘱𝘢𝘪𝘥 Monnet Chair in EU Constitutional Framework for International Dispute Settlement and Rule of Law. A 𝘱𝘢𝘪𝘥 Monnet Chair is a chair funded from the European Commission, and it's rather an honorary chair that it's awarded for a period of 3 years. And Professor 𝘱𝘢𝘪𝘥 holds the chair of European law, public international law, and public law. And actually, he also had a chair, a 𝘱𝘢𝘪𝘥 Monnet Chair for European Integration, Anti-Discrimination, Human Rights, and Diversity, which ended actually last December. And when that ended, Professor 𝘱𝘥𝘷𝘦𝘳𝑴 was awarded the 𝘱𝘢𝘪𝘥 Monnet Chair. Anyway, when it comes to let's say the fields which they are in, Professor 𝘱𝘥𝘷𝘦𝘳𝑴 is rather more also in the field of economic trade and investment, and also raw materials. And Professor 𝘱𝘱𝘪𝘥 is I could say a public international lawyer and a human rights lawyer, and also obviously into economic law as well. So I'm going to speak a little bit about the program. I'm going to try to keep also the time in here so I don't go overboard. Well, there are I will just move here, and then this will make more sense, I guess. So this is basically the structure of our master's program. So you have the European integration, which would be the basic phase, which it's usually done from mid-October when we start until let's say December, and this is where you will take all the basic courses. Particularly, there are 3 courses which are mandatory. That would be European integration, public international law, and internal market. And after that, you have the right to pick up to 2 of these tracks in here, and get up to 2 specializations. You can specialize in European economic law compliance and regulation. That would be track number 1. You can specialize in trade, investment, international dispute resolution, and or European international human rights. What does that mean? Because sometimes students get confused with that. So basically what it means is that when the diploma is printed and it says, awarded LLM in public or Masters of Law, LLM in public and international law, under it will say specialized in, I don't know, European economic law compliance regulation and trade, investment, international dispute settlement, for example. The way how you can do that is basically for 2 semesters, you have to collect 45 credit points from classes. Classes are a mixture of either academic classes or scientific written research paper from a student, and also practical classes. And after you have obtained your 45 credit points, you can write your master thesis, which is an academic work, roughly about 40 pages, which there is a time limit of 3 months, so to say, and you can write it again in one of those fields that we teach here at the Institute. And if you stick to the time, within 12 months, you will have your LLM. Which sometimes it's not the easiest for students because particularly the ones that are career-oriented, they tend to find a job right away. So we try to push them to, write the master thesis as fast as possible. These are our lectures, and I'm going to stop here for a second to also explain a little bit how our program works. Our program doesn't work like the traditional programs, that you have. Let's say for the first semester, every Monday, 10 to 12, European integration, and then on Tuesday, you have European economic law, and so on. The program here, we work with blocks of classes, which means a professor will come from wherever they're sitting. They are sitting basically all over the world. They will come here depending on how big is their class and how many credit points the class has. And then they will teach that class for, let's say, 2 to 5 days or 6 working days. So basically you will have, let's say, European integration from 9 o'clock in the morning until 5 or 6 or 7 o'clock in the afternoon. And after that, when the professor of the European integration is gone, the public international law professor is coming, and then it's teaching their class in public international law, again, for the next 3 or 4 days from 9 until 5, 6, or 7 in the afternoon. And this is basically how we can, so to say, afford to have, I don't know, 𝘱𝘢𝘪𝘥, which holds one of the basic courses, 2 actually of the basic courses in the track Human Rights. She's the judge at the European Court of Human Rights. I'm missing a picture of actually one of the alumni, which is the German judge at the European Court of Justice, well, the General Court. She teaches trademark. Professor 𝘗𝘠𝘪𝘥𝘠, actually, it's the one that it's in the lecture hall right now, which is right behind my back in this wall here. And he's the general director of legal affairs at the Commission. So yeah, basically this is how the program works, and I guess these are some of the names that would come up from my mind, or I don't know. Also, another honorary professor that we have at the Europa Institute is Professor 𝘱𝘢𝘳𝘠, and right now he's the EU ambassador in Vienna, but before that he was the Secretary General of the Commission. So yeah. And usually all of these professors that we have here, they're coming, being that either from proper academic fields, so that means that they might hold a chair somewhere in some other university, or they are some general partner, as a managing partner in law firms, such as, I don't know, White & Case and Tyler Wessing and so on, or judges, so in different fields. Anyway, during this year, you will have all of these soft skills and trainings that apparently, obviously, the market wants for you to have. And some of the practice-oriented classes that we have, it's 𝘱𝘢𝘳𝘵, which is a European decision-making simulation. We're going to take the students this year for a week in New York. And then we have different moot courts and case studies and so on. And for the preparation for the job market, then we do also the EPSA training, the Blue Book training preparation, application workshop, and how to work in Germany and the EU. As I said, during all of this year, you will go through some stretching and compressing, so to say, because I would have to say it's an intense master's program. I mean, doing an LLM for a year, it takes some time. So you will have to start with critical thinking and problem solving and, self-management and time management. And in between, we will teach you also, I don't know, negotiation skills and public speaking skills and all of that. We are very proud of also our alumni association. We have an alumni association. Actually, I'm board member of the alumni association. So we do a lot of things with the students. We were founded in 1996. There is over 100 international members all over the world, and we do we have a job and internship pool, and we do regular meetups with the alumni in different European cities, actually. But we usually hold an annual meeting with the new students and alumni in Brussels, when we also speak about job opportunities in Brussels. And these are some of our alumni. Actually, this guy over here, it's Professor 𝘱𝘢𝘪𝘥. He's also a professor at the Institute, and he's also the German ambassador in Denmark. When it comes to the moot courts and the simulations, as I mentioned before, we have 𝘱𝘢𝘳𝘵. As you can see, this picture here in the middle, it was during Corona time that everything was live. We were about to take the students to New York, but we went in lockdown. But these are some of the pictures around the group here on the right. Actually, it's the group when it took place in London, and that was also when Brexit. It happened to be on the same time that Brexit was going to get in power. Anyway, we have Wismut and the FDI moot court, and then also what we call the German moot court, which take place at the European Court of Justice, actually. Then we do simulations. We take the students at the Regent's University, and they also come here. So you will also get to sort of visit London if you would decide to study at the Institute. And usually the class that takes place, the simulation that takes place in Regent University will be a combination of, let's say, human rights and economic law. Then we do, we had a spring school in Fordham School of Law in New York, but actually this year we're trying to come up with another spring, or rather summer school, with University of Montreal. We're hoping to take about 20 students there for a good 2-week summer school. And then we have the excursions, as I said, the traditional ones, which is Brussels. We go and visit the Commission and the Parliament, and we have the alumni meeting, as I said. And then we take the students to Luxembourg and Strasbourg, where we sit in the Grand Chamber, and that's also a regular excursion that we do. And then, let's say, the optional one would be Berlin and Paris. In Berlin, we take the students as a special invitation that we get from the VDI Europa Forum, which is a talk show, political talk show, so to say. And in Paris, it's Professor Weber will take his student, whoever is writing the seminar in the field of dispute resolution. So you will also go and visit the ICC in Paris. The application procedure, you need a university degree in law or comparable subject and proof of knowledge of English and German. The deadline for the applications is the 15th of July. So you have time until the 15th of July to send an application. In any case, if you have any questions, send us an email at the application@europainstitute.de, and we will try to answer all of your questions that you might have. And you can also follow us in the social media over here. We are on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And these are some of our last impressions.